Okay, so let me go somewhere else with it.
All right, go ahead.
Let's step back. Let's go back to Obama,
Yeah.
his term, and how some minorities came out. And I know if you heard it, me and you polyed on this several times.
Yep.
How some minorities felt that. And I think you had a story. I want you to share your story with the actual viewers.
The barbershop story.
The barbershop story.
Yeah.
And how a lot of minorities feel that Obama did not do anything during his 8 years in office for the black people. And before you go, I just want to say to Steve, please pay attention, you guys, because this is something that us as people, we have to make sure that we pay attention to politics, especially when it comes to this election and who's in office, not just during those months leading up to the election and then after the election, prior to the next election. Pay attention to what takes place during someone's terms, what they're pushing forward, the roadblocks that are there, what takes place. And, you know, you got to stay engaged, not just before the election. You got to stay engaged all 4 years prior. So just wanted to put that out there because, you know, a lot of times people, they get heavy on this politics now. Look, a lot of people talking politics right now due to this election. January 1st, this is going to be off the table for them for the next 4 years. And then we're going to hear it again at the end of 4 years, like what happened. Instead of staying engaged right now and understanding the topics, the issues, what's going on, the challenges.
That's a fact.
Keeping the pressure on. Though we have Biden in office right now, we got to still keep the pressure on. He still has to be accountable for everything that we expect out of him. So I just want to make sure that's understood. Stay engaged.
Yeah.
Our people, our minorities.
So
let's get on that.
So I'm not necessarily an Obama defender. I'm just objective, right? So I'm in the barbershop and we're having, barbershop talk. We having a conversation. We talking about sports. We talking about the election, X, Y, and Z. And somebody is like, well, why is it that Trump has done more for us than Obama has? And
this is their opinion.
This is their opinion, right? And the example that they give is the funding of the black historical black colleges, of the HBCUs, right? So I don't like to necessarily get into the weeds with people when it comes to certain politics or their beliefs in politics and stuff like that. I just like to go with the logic. But he likes to
chop it up, though.
Yeah,
don't get it twizzled.
I'll have no problem debating logic with you, right? So what he says to me is he says that Trump funded historical black colleges. They're now federally funded. We don't have to worry about them ever going away because of financial issues, right? I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that at all. Right?
Not arguing that at all.
That's how you understand what Trump did? Okay, fine. So I asked him a question.
That's how you understand.
I asked him a question. I said, well, how does that help your child? He said, well, that college is now going to be there for me, for my child to possibly go to. I said, well, your child first has to get accepted, right? He said, yes.
Still got to go through the protocol.
I said, do you have to pay for that college, or is that college free? He said, I don't know. I said, okay, but you're saying that he did something for us. Yeah, we created those HBCUs and he made sure that they're fully funded. But I said, okay, I understand that, but I'm saying, how does that help you? I know how that helps the university. I know how that helps. Did the universities cut cost? Did they cut the tuition? Did they cut room and board? Like what did they do now that they are fully funded as you understand it? He says, I don't know. And he starts asking me about
something before you say something.
And he starts asking me about other colleges and whether or not they're federally funded or not.
Okay.
And I said, okay, that's not my argument to you, right? I'm not here to talk about other colleges. I'm here to talk about your point and why you think Trump did more for black people. He didn't bring up the prison reform, right? He didn't bring that up. So I didn't bring it up. I didn't talk because I'm only talking to you about how he feels. And I said, what do you do? He says, I work, he works where he works.
Barbershop.
Do you have insurance? Yeah, I have insurance. Where? From where? Because you're your own employer. If anybody doesn't know how barbershops work, a barber is their
independent
own employer,
contractor.
Right? They're independent contractor. And don't get me wrong, I respect him to the highest. We're just having a debate and having a conversation. And I'm saying
So the question was just
it's just
sincere as possible.
Yeah, no disrespect at all. And so my point being is okay, well, you have insurance, you have something that takes care of your kids. And I'm like, well, one of the things that affects us as minorities, as black people, is the lack of health care.
Correct.
Right? Obamacare is there for us.
I was just about to say that.
Obamacare. To which he retorts, that's for everybody. I'm specifically... Hold on, wait. What he's saying is he's specifically talking about something for black people.
My problem is this. Even with that, I'm glad you said that. Who benefits the most from Obamacare?
That's the point that I was trying to get to.
Yeah, because the minority we benefit the most.
We live in a I think that the expectations, because Barack Obama was black, were that of someone who was going to come in there and just do everything for black people. And because he didn't slap black people as a name on everything that he did, people assume that we didn't benefit from some of the policies and stuff that he put forth. Now, don't get me wrong. Hold on, I need to say this piece. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty of policies that were enacted while he was in president that didn't help us. But when you start to automatically label him as somebody who did nothing for us, to me, it comes across as that slave mentality of, oh, he the house nigga, or just because he's black and he's in a position of success, he must be down with the Illuminati, or he must have done something. I can't argue against that.
This makes no sense to me.
Go ahead.
We get our first black president in the United States.
Yeah.
He comes out there to show his competency as a leader of the world, not the leader of black people.
That's a fact.
And a lot of minorities,
that's a fact,
we don't understand, or let's say some of the minorities don't understand this. If Obama would have came into office with this whole big, this is for black people, that's for black people,
yep,
what would that have shown? He's not for the people. They would have used that to basically tarnish every bit of anything he did and said, he only came in here to be for his people, this, that, and third here. He doesn't show any competency that he can rule for everyone. Obama, in my opinion, showed that, first and foremost, I'm going to show you my competency, my ability to lead this country as a whole and everyone. And then the second part is that there are a lot of people, once again, that your barber, not saying him directly, but there's a lot, because I've had those same conversations. There's people that come and I politic with them on the same thing, and they tell you, he didn't do anything. He didn't do this and third here. And I say, okay, were you paying attention to his full term or 8 years? Were you paying attention to who controlled the Senate? Were you paying attention to how many things got blocked? How many things they actually were advocating for?
Yeah.
When you got to build all those things in there, so when you turn around and say that this didn't take place, make sure that you're paying attention to the whole
entire thing before you say
whole 8 years.
What
so
he
you can
could,
understand everything that
what
took
he
place
did and what he
from
couldn't
him
do.
digging us
Right.
out of the recession or where we were
Right.
at, which we already knew with the Bush that this is going to go prior to this taking place. We had conversations about this, Steve.
Yeah.
The next president that comes into office for the next 4 years to the next 8 years will be digging us out just to get us to a baseline.
That's a fact.
Trump took over. For those that are confused, the work that Obama did to get us out of where we're at,
he took over a
Trump
great situation.
took over and just ran with something. The way the economy is stimulated now, that only took place over all the work that took place over the Obama administration.
Well, if you listen to any,
people get lost with that.
If you listen to how things go, there's an understanding that whatever happens while you're in office, you take credit for.
There it is.
And whatever happened, whatever that's, whether it's good or whether it's bad, right? So Obama took the hit on the economy his first year as the president,
which he inherited,
right?
Something that he basically inherited.
Hey,
he
but
didn't create it.
But it is what it is.
It fell in his lap, and he gotta own it.
He didn't complain about it, right? He didn't complain about it. So, I like again, when it comes to mindsets of people who think that Trump did something for them. I'm not gonna tell you that that's not true. What I'm gonna ask you is, I'm gonna ask you to break that down for me.
God, there it is.
Because I need to understand why it is that you feel that way. You might teach me something, right? I'm not an expert. Correct. I just have my opinion. I try and stay abreast to everything, correct, but I don't know everything. So you might say something to me like, you know what? I didn't know that. That's why I don't have any problems having a conversation with a Trump supporter. I want you to really tell me why you feel the way you feel about Trump, definitely, right? And then when I can pull up facts to you, if you're willing to listen to those facts, I'm not mad at you that you're a Trump supporter, right? If you're willing to listen. But if you can look at the facts,
and if you're willing to bring up whatever you bring up as factual stuff on your end,
no, absolutely, it's a give and take thing, right? Correct. It's a give and take thing.
I just want to make sure that's clear.
I love to have these conversations.
It's both ways.
Yep, I love to have the conversations.
And hold on, if you don't mind me, I just want people to understand this. And Steve, I think we on the same page. We call ourselves Black Republicans, and understand that from this standpoint, we might vote for the most part from a Republican, let's say a government election standpoint, Democratic, but deep down, we are based off of those that kind of know their history. Black Republicans, a lot of us independent individuals that get out there and get our own. Yeah, we don't lean on that stuff.
Yeah, I'll say it like this. I say it like this. A lot of people.
The parties were somewhat flipped years ago.
Yeah, but a lot of people, and I think people know that. And it's all about what the parties represent now more than what it used to represent. Yep. But I also think that there's a lot of common philosophies that we as minorities share.
Yeah.
Right, with Republicans.
Correct.
Right. So it's not to say that I'm a Republican. I just don't have a problem voting Republican.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem voting for anyone who falls in line with what where my agenda lies, what I think is important, right? My vote is not beholden to Democrat or Republican. Mm-hmm. I do take my vote seriously, and I will vote for what I think is better for the majority, right? Not necessarily just what's best for me. I can give you an example of Lil Wayne and 50 Cent, and they talking about, oh, we not rocking with Joe Biden because he planned on taking 60% of our bread. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? Y'all sellouts. But guess what? I understand. I wouldn't want 60% of my bread being taken either. But that's not the case, right? That's really not the case. That's a Fox News talking point. Let's say this. And that's something that would never get passed, even if it was.
Let's say this. Let's say whatever the crazy numbers are.
Yeah.
If you are, I just want to understand this. If you are a wealthy, well-off millionaire, but you know where you came from, the mud, and we're gonna go past the mud because half of us came from the dirt. We're gonna do a whole new saying, Steve. It ain't the mud. We ain't come from the mud. We came from the dirt. So that's the mud before the water. Mm-hmm. We came from the dirt. We ain't even had the water. Yep. We built this up from the dirt. When you know half of the people that you came from the dirt, and if something like that came into play that can allow your family or your people as a whole to do a little better, and you know no matter what, you still going to be good, isn't that a higher calling? I'm just saying, not saying the numbers were 60, but I'm just saying, isn't that a higher calling? How selfish are we as a people to the point where once a person started looking at our pocket that we're so caught up on this dollar bill that we willing to say, oh shit, you taking 60% of mine. If those were the true numbers, mm-hmm. though we know that 60% might be able to help out those that are really still in the slums. How fucked up is that to some degree?
To quote Eddie Murphy, half.
All right, so we're gonna segue somewhere different.
I'm just saying. Who wants more than half of their bread taken away from them? Ain't nobody gonna want that.
We gonna go somewhere different.
Half.
I want to talk about this,
Eddie.
We rocking now, baby.